Hello one, hello all. Today I will be telling you a story of a team looking for glory. I will cover the ups, the downs of the Team Crowns. Oh my god. Hello. As I just said, when we're going through currently Crowns, look through how they started as a team and all that, everything they've gone through, the wins, losses throughout the season, where they stand, just tell you the story, what they've gone through, so you know what's been leading up to this. It's next week, I-58, TF2's World Championships, essentially. Gonna be super stacked. Gonna have Crowns, obviously, who this video is about. Gonna have Full Tilt, Perilous, whatever they're called. They're gonna be there. Froyo, the Aussies, this tournament's gonna be awesome. It's gonna have some great games, of course. Other teams, Pankto are going. Who else? What are they called now? Xanax. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be tons of good games. Make sure you watch it. So, anyway, moving on to Crowns. Originally called Reason and Nerd Rage as well. They've been called Nameless for a very long time. It's probably what most people know them as recently, if for some reason you joined this game after Season 20, which doesn't really make sense. Anyway, so in Season 20, the roster started Cadus, Skeege, Zoob, Walters, Huffy Cool, and Captain. A nice little mix of old, experienced, and some new blood there, Huffy and Captain. The season before, played for Planet Express, showed huge potential, especially obviously Captain. I mean, Huffy had a bit of a shaky start, but towards the end he definitely picked it up, and throughout all of the seasons he's just gotten better and better to the point where he is now. You could argue he's probably the best passive scout in the game. He's really damn good. Zoob, very experienced pocket, always been on the lower ends of teams, the bottom kind of end. Always been the best player on his team by far. Finally on a really good team, although he was on Roma and he's traditionally pocket, but he definitely stood out just fine. Skeege, very experienced medic, has a lot of history with Big Kato, and starting off they had a very good season. It was a pretty strong season as well. We had BK, this Scandi mix with Zebo and Scout just destroying everyone. We had Suave, the Mike and Nox team, Somzi, who else was on there? People were on there. That was a really strong team. Nox and Mike on Soldiers did some huge damage, and of course the Frenchies, always hype as hell to watch. It's Tech, Flippy, Flip. I always hate that scout pair just because of their names. But I mean, that season definitely had their downs. They did actually lose to Suave and BK before the playoffs, in the regular season, and they drew of the Frenchies. So it wasn't looking too good, but they did make it to playoffs, which was pretty strong, pretty good for them, obviously. However, the first round they had to play BK. It was a super close game, a really good game. I definitely recommend people go back and watch it. It was really exciting. But they got to, spoilers, they got to map 3, Golden Cap, and BK narrowly managed to win. So that was the first season for Reason. God, I love those puns. Yeah, they managed to get third. But they weren't deterred by this. They stuck together, and for season 21, they had some definitely good opponents. BK did fold, however, their players kind of split off into two new teams, Nerd Rage and TLR. Suave also did fold. What made this possible? Nerd Rage is just stacked with names. Tech on Pocket, Bull on Medic, Zebo, Roma. Who else was on that team? Flippy was Scout, and there was someone else I'm forgetting. Oh god, sorry, whoever I'm forgetting. Probably someone amazing. It's Stark. How did I forget Stark? My man, I'm sorry, dude. Oh, he's gonna be upset at that. And TLR, his team, Shadowburn, Herpy, Nico, Amps, and Serotonin. Two pretty damn good teams, although a lot of top teams did complain about TLR being really random. That sort of got him some stuff. I'm not gonna go into that. That's behind the scenes. You don't get to know that. They had a pretty damn good season. They did manage to beat Nerd Rage in the season, but they lost to TLR in a really, really strange game where Herpy was on a train or something, and they had TLR had Nox on Scout Merking. Reason took this really big early lead on Gully Wash, and then Herpy got home, and TLR just turned on. Herpy had a great game, and they just started to beat him. Reason didn't know what was going on. If you go into the TLR team, comes over hype as hell. Oh, it was awesome. And then they go on to the second map Viaduct, and Reason just got beasted. Herpy got a 6k. That's definitely one to go back and watch as well. That was a good game. Pretty unfortunate for a Reason, but the rest of the season, obviously, really strong for them. They had their second loss to Dogs. I'm not sure what happened here. I can't really remember it off the top of my head, and I'm not going to go back and watch the game because it's pretty long. My notes actually just say beat everyone in season but TLR and dogs question mark lol. It's pretty that was pretty funny whenever I wrote these notes. Anyway, after they lost to dogs, they had a roster change. Now it wasn't because they lost to dogs. I know this because I know the players and I was talking to them and stuff like that. They were sort of thinking about this stuff kind of before they lost to dogs, and so after that they changed their roster. The main reason was that Zub and Walters weren't able to go to LAN, so they need to replace those anyway. So they managed to pick up Mike on Roma, and originally Kyler played for Walters, and then Skeege was available, and Nox, there we go, Nox was available, so he came in instead of Skeege. Skeege got cut, rest in peace, Kate the Snake, all those memes, and so now they had Mike and Nox, obviously complete legends, super dominant back in Epsilon, second place at I-52. Like, these two together, of course you're going to want them if you can. Like, any team would want that. So after the roster switch, just complete dominance throughout the rest of the season. They bring it up through playoffs and just destroy everyone. They did have Shocky for playoffs, and he was originally supposed to go to LAN. I can't really remember what happened to Kyler. But before I-55, after winning the season, unfortunately Shocky wasn't able to go, and they replaced him with Forsaken on Scout. Forsaken previously had been playing Scout, and definitely got a lot of people's attention with his sniping. But maybe a little too much attention. Some people had some questions about him, and maybe his sniping wasn't going to be as good as LAN as it was online for certain reasons, Russians are known for. So going into I-55, group stages was not too good for Reason. The first game, they got 5-0'd by FurryTech on Process, which was their worst map, and probably FurryTech's best, but was it? No, I think Gullywash was FurryTech's best, but Process, definitely not Reason's strongest map, and it's definitely how you want to start a tournament, just getting 5-0'd like that. It was really unfortunate for them. They also lost to TLR, I believe, in groups, yeah. And who else did they lose to? And Nerd Rage. So losses to the other three big teams at the tournament. They did manage to tie with Ascent and beat Dogs. So not what they wanted, but definitely not a bad result. I mean, there's a 6 pretty damn good teams. They lost to Dogs in the season before as well, although that was with a different roster. But they managed to kind of pick it up, finishing middle of the pack there. And then moving on into brackets, their first game was versus some random team. Managed to win that, and so they move on in to play Ascent. That game was amazing. Definitely go back and watch that one. It's the one where Snake, they hold and hold and hold on last. Ascent keep trying different things, but they just can't get it. Eventually, they managed to hold it out for the round timer to reset. That 9-minute one that you never see played, the one that resets if you don't cap a point for 9 minutes. Reason managed to hold on for that long, bring it back, just dominate the mid-fight, take second quickly, push onto last, and they capped it with literally the last possible second of the map. That was incredible. As a really hype moment. The game itself was pretty boring because it was just a last hold for 30 minutes, but oh my god, that was really something special in TF2. Such a close game on such an important LAN, and Reason took it. They'd move on to face FurryTech in the semi-finals, and FurryTech would beat them. I can't really remember what happened, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been that good. Reason were having some problems early on. Huffy beat Captain in MGE at the start of the day, so Captain wasn't playing so well because he was humiliated by that. No, it's just some of the Reason players, they're not exactly like LAN experienced, and they just took some time to find their footing, but it didn't happen yet. And so FurryTech would go on to face Nerd Rage while Reason dropped down to play Saints, who beat Danger Dogs. Saints came up through open bracket, and they beat Danger Dogs through the invite team. That was a great game, but it's not what this video is about. So oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong game. Am I not? Yes, I am. Okay, so the first Reason Ascent wasn't the one I was talking about. The one I was talking about was this one, which was Losers Semis. Yeah, Reason won that. That was awesome. Oh god, that's awful. My bad. I might do some editing magic. If you're seeing this part, I haven't done the editing magic. I'm just gonna keep it, but I might flip it. Whatever. Big dum-dum by me. And then they move on to face FurryTech in the Losers Finals. Obviously, they've been a bit shaky this tournament. Forsaken hasn't really been showing up. Mike's been playing like a god. Captain's been getting better as it goes on. But the losers finals with FroyoTech and Reason was an awesome series. Really close. Reason came within centimeters of just beating FroyoTech 2-0 and just destroying like everyone's expectations for this LAN, having the double Euro final. And they just something happened on Gullywash. He got taken to golden cap. Captain rocket jumped wrong in spawn or something like that, and it messed up Cadis's rollout. FroyoTech managed to take the middle off of that advantage, and they just played well, pushed it up, and they took map 2, Gullywash, and a golden cap, and then it moved on to Viaduct. And if you watch I-55, FroyoTech's Viaducts were amazing. No one could touch them on it. They were just godlike. Super unfortunate. It was a bit strange that they picked Viaduct against FroyoTech because they've seen everyone be dominant. They had the option of playing Sunshine, which isn't that strong a map for Reason, but FroyoTech were like pretty bad on it, so I think they definitely would have had a chance on Sunshine. I think they might have won it. Like, we'll never know, but definitely would have been better than Viaduct, and that ended their I-55 run. Third place, pretty good, but it's definitely not what they were expecting. It's unfortunate for them. So, moving on into Season 23, Nerd Rage have folded, the one that got second at I-55, which left Stark available for pickup on Scout instead of Shocky. Mike and Nox also left, so they picked up Perm on Medic and Rising on Roma, so we now have Captain and Rising as the soldiers, Perm on Medic, and Stark Heffy as the Scouts. Season 22 this is. Roster works out great for them, of course it does. That's just a beast of a roster, really. They 6-0'd everyone, and they had a 3-3 with TF2 Center, which was the new Mike Knox team, with Numlocked and some other people. Super good, because that was like the big question of the season, which one of these two is going to come up. At some point in the season, Zebo came in because Ryzen couldn't play anymore. Didn't really remember the exact reason why. But yeah, that happened. Zebo played well. Ryzen obviously played really well. I can't really remember what happened with him though. But Ryzen's the best roamer of all time, if you didn't know. So going on from that, DreamHack Winter happened during this point. I couldn't remember if it happened before or after the playoffs, so I'll just talk about it like now. So I'll talk about playoffs now because I can't remember the exact order, but it was TF2 Center and Reason in the finals, and Reason managed to beat TF2 Center. Just, doing it up big. And DreamHack Winter, TF2 Center didn't go. Obviously, there's a big controversy about that. Stark, the whistleblower, going Edward Snowden, and exposing Mike and some other people for not showing up. And so it wasn't exactly the best LAN. They didn't get. The LAN was better than anyone thought it was going to be, but there was definitely no challenge for a Reason there. Stark played Roma, Zebo played Scout. They had their fun with it, and they just took the tournament. Definitely showed that they were the top team. Coming into Season 23, Zebo didn't want to keep playing. Like, Zebo was going to be a temporary measure, so they needed to find a Roma. Originally, Stark wanted to play Roma because he had some good internet, so they were looking for a Scout. They tried Zen, I think they tried Piers, they tried some people, but no one really fit. And then Stark had the idea of trying Drac, who was the pocket for Owner Squad at that time. He played in Reason before. This was a completely different Reason at I-52 with Huey on demo, Samsy and Herpy on Scouts, Rising on Roma, and they had a Medic. That team didn't do too well. Definitely not as good as they were expecting. So now he's back in Reason, but it's a completely different Reason. And yeah, worked out well. They gave him a trial. He fit perfectly. And he's obviously gone on to be really good. And Season 23, just like the others, dominant season again. But this time, even more. They're just getting, each season's more dominant than the last. It's really good. They're just getting better and better as a team. Staying together for this long is obviously proving well for them. They only lose 1 point in the main season. They lost it to Public Layer at the time, Crowns or whatever they were. Eventually, they were Crowns after that. The Amps and Smire Kaya team, everyone knows it. Everyone's favorite. They lost to them they lost a point on a golden cap. They got taken to it on Sunshine. That was the only point they lost in the main season. And then they go first place in playoffs, and then they play the grand finals, and Full Tilt comes up to them, and they beat them. They also beat them 5-0 in the first week when Full Tilt had Ale. They eventually took in Spud, the demo from Dogs, who was shown to be really good, and he definitely was one of the best players on Full Tilt. But unfortunately, the New Blood can't come up. I guess they're the New Blood. They're the first, whatever. They have Koss. Koss is old as hell. Anyway, so they take that season, and now we move on to Season 24, the one that just happened, and this is where, at the start of in the off-season, there was a big problem where Cadis got a job, and because of that, like he can't play because of his wrist problems. So yeah, he has his wrist problems. He's got like the worst case of RSI of any human that's ever lived. So he can't play with them anymore. So they had to find a new demo. Originally trying Mike, but Mike eventually would join Full Tilt as their roamer. Not trying, they went after Mike. But then they actually get Spud. I know some other people that were in contention, but I don't think I should really talk about that. But they do get Spud from Full Tilt, which left Full Tilt without a demo. Full Tilt picks up Ale eventually, but now Spud, who was probably the best demo in Prem after Cadus, so like it's a bit of a downgrade, but they got him. Didn't look too good of a pickup though. Like as good as Spud is, he didn't really seem to fit the team that well. They had a pretty bad start to the finish. To the season. It like dropped a lot of points, but as it went on, they definitely developed a bit more. They sort of sorted it out a little bit, and they definitely got better. But it wasn't as clean as their previous seasons. I sort of just briefly went over it in the past ones because it was just them, winning. But it really wasn't like that this season. Season 24, if I just pull up some of the stuff from it. Yeah, they got 3-3 of PC Master Race, and they got 6-0'd by LEGO. Not really what they wanted. They did 6-0 Bags of 5, and Happy End, I don't even know who those are. I barely watched last season. But not two of the top teams. PC Master Race, not exactly a pushover, but not exactly a team to get too hyped about. And then LEGO, LEGO have always been like that team that you think should be doing a bit better. But obviously this was their breakout, well, it wasn't their breakout season, but it's like, this is kind of the result that they've been expecting before. So yeah, they managed to come out on top. They 6-0'd Crowns. But then, they continue their dominance. They even 6-0 Full Tilt again later in the season. And then we had DreamHack Summer. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. DreamHack Summer. Great event. Awesome TF2. Not the best for Nerd Rage at this point. They'd become Nerd Rage. I can't remember exactly when that happened, but it was definitely at DreamHack they were Nerd Rage. Just not a great start for them, really. Had a pretty weak game, managed to barely win it out. And then they go on to face Perilous Full Tilt in the winners final, where Perilous just beat them. Perilous looked really convincing. They played, and I should mention Captain and Stark had switched roles because Stark was like really comm heavy on the team, so they thought if they put him on Pocket, now that Cadus was gone, Cadus was like their main caller, they kind of needed one. So if they put Stark in a more like in the middle of the team, it'd start to work out, go really well. But it didn't really look to be working out too good in the beginning for them anyway. And then in winners finals, like they lost to Perilous. So then they come back to play Crowns. God, this is going to get really confusing. Because, now they're Crowns. Anyway, so they come back to play Crowns. There was a huge, huge delay for 2 hours because Nerd Rage wanted Cadus to coach. I agree that he shouldn't have been able to coach, which was the decision that was made, because they didn't have him earlier. If they would have said it like going into the tournament, it would have made more sense, but it was kind of like, oh, we're losing our games, now we want to coach. They may not agree with me, but it's how I see it, and then so therefore you shouldn't really have the coach. This apparently took 2 hours to decide. So they play this one out. They're starting to get better. Like as the game goes on, they're just being more and more dominant. They're showing less of the shakiness that they had, and they do beat out Crowns 2-0. Gully was a little shaky, but it was definitely looking fine. And then they go on to play Perilous in the grand finals, and oh my god, what a grand final. Any doubt, definitely been destroyed. Nerd Rage were playing super good against Perilous. Perilous were playing just as well. They were definitely tit for tat on each other, evenly matched, just constant golden caps, close games, a 1-0 process. Like, go watch that grand final. Obviously, there was no conclusion because DreamHack Security were like, nah, you gotta get out. This game's too good. We can't have it finish. Like something in the WWE, dude. Someone just runs in, so it's a disqualification, and we'll never know who won. That's like what happened. It sucked. I remember we were in the crowd. This guy's like, yeah, you gotta leave. We're closing. K3, old school French player, was like, can we, like, they're in the middle of a map. Can we let them finish that? This was on Viaduct, like the second round or something. He's like, okay, yeah, you can finish this. So they play out Viaduct, and on the comeback, Crowns managed to win it and tie it up 2-2. So we're going to go into map 5, which is going to be Granary. But we couldn't do it because we were getting kicked out. some of the security guards were being douchebags. You know, like we're trying to decide how to deal with this, and I heard like the guy behind me go like, "Oh, in 3 minutes they won't have a decision to make." Ha ha ha! Really funny, dude. Like he obviously doesn't actually play games; he's just hired for that event. We eventually just decided to split the prize pools. There's no way you can replay that. Like you'll never get the same iterations of those teams again, which is just unfortunate. So they're your DreamHack Summer Champions. Now we come back to the season, which happens after that, and into playoffs. We have a team, Lego, and Crowns, Nerd Rage, Reason, whatever. No, they're nameless at this point. Yeah. Oh, they were nameless at DreamHack. I can't even remember when they were Nerd Rage. It doesn't matter. They've had so many names. So, nameless go on to beat Lego in the first stage of playoffs. Lego then have to play Perilous. I took Mike on holiday. This was planned months ago, but it was obviously my master plan to take Mike away. And without him, I'm sure Demore tried his best. I haven't watched the games. Lego managed to beat him and move on to the grand finals. Huge for Lego, but they just weren't really a match for Nameless. They definitely have their shit together now, and that's gonna be it. You know, they take grand finals. They had Raymond. Forgot to mention that Perm got dropped out, unfortunately for Perm. But I think Raymond's a much better pick. I think he fits how a lot of the players' like natural play styles are. Like they're really aggressive people, and Perm just kind of like he fit well because Perm's a great medic, and I guess he sort of pulled the horse back a little bit. That doesn't make any sense. I hope you get what I mean. But no, I think Raymond fits the team a lot better. He had like a 2-death game on Viaduct. I mean, the man's insane. He's got the mechanics of Jesus. So I'm really excited to see what he comes out. He did have a questionable couple of drops, but I think ultimately Raymond's definitely going to work out for the team. At the very least, he's going to be a side grade. Like I don't see them going to get. I definitely don't see them getting worse or anything because of this switch. So that's their run so far up until season 24. The last time we saw them play was the show match, where they lost to Perilous. Oh, good God, that's not looking too good. Although they played the third map in a courtesy and they did manage to win, but it's like the map that didn't matter, so it's like stakes are gone, so the result matters a lot less. However, they did manage to pull that one map out, so good for them. It's not like Full Tilt weren't even trying or anything. So going into I-58, they want to keep up this dominance that they've started to bring back. They want to overcome Perilous. They haven't really beat them yet in a game that counts. I mean, they did in the season, but you know, it wasn't the full roster. Whenever they've had the full roster, Perilous have come out on top recently, and you know, they made this team such a long time ago. They wanted to win the LAN. They couldn't do it. They're like, we'll try again. They're sticking for it, and I think they have a good shot at I-58. They're 100% guaranteed top 3. I'd like to see them first, personally. I've followed their journey for a long time. Captain's like the first person I knew in this game, you know? So I'd really like to see them win. I think they definitely can. Yeah. Good luck, boys. That's their journey so far. I hope you enjoyed this, even though I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. As you could probably tell, I'm pretty incoherent. I should have just wrote a script. Just did bullet points. Yeah, definitely should have wrote a script, but that would have taken forever. I pulled this up in like 5 minutes, so hope you enjoyed, and see you later, boys.